Hello students, hi. Now I am going to discuss about animal kingdom, which are revision for earlier question papers, repeated question and answers. So listen carefully. This is class 11th or first PUC revision. So the first question is, what are the difficulties that you would face in classification of animals if common fundamental features are not taken into account? The common fundamental features used for classifying animals, as earlier I have explained in class, which are symmetry, nothing but I have explained what is bilateral and radial symmetry. Radial symmetry will have multiple halves, which are like pizza cutting, and bilateral symmetry is equal identical halves. So that is one feature. Another feature is arrangement of cells, which are like outer ectoderm, endoderm, mesoderm, whether it is only ecto and endo or including mesoderm, triploblastic or diploblastic. And the nature of coelom, if it is a true coelom which is having body cavity, or which is false coelom, that is nothing but pseudocoelom. And level of organization, which is starts with cellular, the invertebrates which are starting slowly develops into tissue to multiple organs, then organs organize. So organization will take it as a individual organism. So animal classification completely depend on these four features. The first, which after before entering into this individual class phylum, you have to describe these or write these, because the first point is animals having different level of organization would be have been placed in same group, which are example sponges and cnidarians are always cellular. Main sponges are cellular, cnidarians are little bit further grown, and it turns into tissue level of organization respectively. So they gave a flow chart in your textbook which are differentiated. Please follow those flow charts which are showing. Then you will get an exact idea of these basic fundamentals. So second point is animals showing varied types of germinal layers would have been placed together. Diploblastic cnidarians or triploblastic platyhelminthes. And animals having different body symmetry would have been placed together as coelentrates, always radial symmetry. There will be 8 pieces or 6 pieces, like that it will come. But platyhelminthes are always bilateral symmetry, like human beings only. Those are ribbon structure. If they cut, it will be completely the straight long ones will show always bilateral symmetry. The round ones will always show radial symmetry. Diagrams were clearly shown in your NCERT textbook. Observe carefully. I am telling multiple times, same thing I am repeating because this is important. There would have been no classification of animals based on with or without body cavity. Placing of oviparous and viviparous animals together. Oviparous, which are egg-laying animals, only egg to direct individual, or viviparous, milk-giving animals which does not have a egg outside, like larva and all. So the next I'm moving to next question. if you are given a specimen, means which in bottles you have learned in what is a specimen in biological classification, what are the steps that you would classify it, follow to classify it. Various steps considered to classify a specimen are mode of nutrition. It can be autotrophic, is nothing but self-synthesizing food like plants, which are by photosynthetic. They can make their own self food. They won't depend on other animals or other organism. Holozoic and saprophytic, which are dead decaying animals, or which are eaten upon parasite inside host, staying on inside host and depending on host. And the second point is complexity of body structure, where specimen is, suppose if they give you the specimen which is shown like starfish or sponge or amoeba slide, if they give you as a specimen to identify in practicals also, then if amoeba come, then it is unicellular, single cellular, even protozoa, all are made up of single cell, which are responsible for all metabolic activities of the cell. Multicellular, nothing but many cells will be there. How we are multicellular, like that. Different organs are responsible for different activities. So that is the difference. Most of them unicellular. When it is a big organism, that will be multicellular, because many cells will be responsible for it. Single cell cannot handle a big organism. So presence or absence of membrane bound organelles, means in cell itself there will be many organelles like mitochondria, chloroplast, lysosomes, Golgi complex, endoplasmic reticulum, vacuole, centrosomes, nucleus, all these. Some organisms will have definitely which are big tissue level of organisms, which are unicellular, those will have non-membrane bound organelles. Body symmetry, that is the plane by which organism can be divided into two equal halves. Presence or absence of coelom, it can be coelomates, pseudocoelomates, coelomates, and phylogenetic relationship. So the next time moving to the third one, how useful is the study of nature of body cavity or coelom in the classification of animals. So organisms can be classified according to presence or absence of coelom. The body cavity, which is lined by mesoderm, is called coelom. Animals possessing coelom are called coelomates, that is annelids, mollusks, arthropods, echinoderms, hemichordates and chordates. In some animals, the body cavity is not lined by mesoderm. Instead, the mesoderm is present as scattered pouches in between ectoderm and endoderm. So ectoderm and endoderm will be outer layers and endoderm will be inner layer. Mesoderm will be different scattered pouches. Such a body cavity is always called pseudocoelom, means nothing but false coelom. Pseudo refers false coelom. The animals possessing them are called pseudocoelomates. Example is Escherichia helminthes. In pseudocoelomates, body cavity is derived from blastocele of the embryo. In pseudocoelomate, the animals on which body cavity is absent are called, after pseudocoelomates, these are acoelomates, which are platyhelminthes. So I hope you understand the difference between false coelom and which is having coelom. So the next point, which is distinguish between intracellular and extracellular digestion. So that differences will be intracellular whereas extracellular, which everything repeats. The first point in this is intracellular digestion will happen inside the cell. Intra means inside, whereas extra means outside the cell, means outside the cavity of alimentary canal. So in intracellular digestion, it involves secretion of digestive enzymes by surrounding cytoplasm into food vacuole. Whereas in extracellular digestion, the secretion of digestive enzymes by special cells into cavity of alimentary canal by ducts. And the third point is the products of digestion diffuse into cytoplasm. Diffusion, it happens inside cells by tissues, and whereas in extracellular digestion, the products of digestion diffuse across the intestinal wall into different parts of the body. So intracellular digestion is less efficient. There is no regional differentiation. The extracellular digestion is more efficient and gut shows different regional differentiation. Whereas in intracellular digestion, it occurs in unicellular organisms, simple organisms, and some other lower organisms. But extracellular digestion occurs in multicellular organisms. So what is the difference between direct and indirect development? So as I already, when I taught animal kingdom, I have explained the characters of these. The direct development will be young ones may be resemble the adult, whereas indirect development, the larvae, which are young hatchings, do not resemble the adult. So intermediate stages in direct development is absent, whereas it is opposite in indirect development. Intermediate stages are present. Like in direct development, directly from egg, the adult will come. In indirect development, there will be multiple stages, which are metamorphosis is seen in indirect development. From egg to larva, some more, then individual will come. So, whereas in direct development, metamorphosis is absent. Example for indirect development is Hydra, even human beings. We are directly from egg, then individual is growing in mother womb. But for frog, cockroach, there are multiple small stages. So this is about direct indirect development. The next question is, what are the peculiar features that you find in parasitic platyhelminthes? The following peculiar features of parasitic helminthes are the thick tegument, which is nothing but body covering resistant to host digestive enzymes and antitoxins. So the body covering will protect the digestive enzymes inside and antitoxins also. The adhesive organs like suckers in flukes and the hooks and suckers in tapeworms for a firm grip on a host body. So these suckers outside that will hold the organism host to live in parasite. The loss of locomotor organs. It will be inside host. There will be no locomotor organs like legs, flagella, cilia, all these. So digestive organs are absent in tapeworms because digestive, semi-digestive food of the host is directly absorbed through the body surface. Reproductive system is best developed in parasitic platforms. Parasitic platforms such as liver fluke and tapeworms perform anaerobic respiration. They possess considerable osmotic adaptability as they can successfully live in different media. What are the reasons that you can think for the arthropods to constitute the largest group of the animal kingdom? Arthropods are most successful animals constitute the largest group of animal kingdom. They have conquered land, sea and air and make up over 3/4 of currently known living fossil organisms. They range in distribution from deep sea to mountain peaks. Thick, tough, non-living chitinous cuticle, which is hard. You can, when you observe the cockroach, cuticle forms the exoskeleton which protect the organism from predators. So predators cannot eat directly. Help to withstand temperature up to 100 degrees and more and prevent water loss. They have ability to reproduce very fast. Less time is needed for young ones to hatch from their eggs. That is why in our homes there will be one cockroach means it will give birth to many eggs which are going transferring to different homes. Due to metamorphosis, there is less competition among larval and adult forms of the food. Cockroaches can survive nuclear radiations, poisoned earth. All these factors made arthropods largest phylum among animals. So the next one is all vertebrates are chordates, but all chordates are not vertebrates. As already in the name itself it is there, which are having vertebrae, those are having notochord also. But all notochords are not having vertebrae. So chordates are these animals that possess notochord, which is a stiff supporting rod-like structure present on dorsal side at some stage of their lives. In the NCERT textbook, they are seen in hemichordata. There is a diagram between notochord and notochord. So phylum chordata is divided into three subphylum. Urochordata, which is nothing but another name is tunicata, cephalochordata, and vertebrata. Subphyla Urochordata and Cephalochordata are often referred to as protochordates and are exclusively marine. In Urochordata, the notochord is present only in tail of larva and disappear in adults, while in Cephalochordata it extends from head to tail region, persist throughout the life. The members of subphylum Vertebrata possess notochord during the embryonic period, and it is replaced by cartilaginous bony vertebral column in the adult. Thus all vertebrates are chordates, but all chordates are not vertebrates. So how important is the presence of air bladder in Pisces? Yeah, this is very important. Bony fishes have sac-like outgrowth. The swim bladder, also called air bladder, that arises as an outgrowth from the dorsal wall of esophagus. It is a hydrostatic in function. When you see the fishes outside, when they are removing these and selling, so it regulates when it is inside water, buoyancy, which because of that it can float. Buoyancy nothing but to float and help them to swim up and down, fins like that. So thus preventing from the sinking. In some species, air bladder also help for respiration. It gives a breathing. So there are multiple help because of these bladder and fins also. So it is also serves as resonating chamber to produce or receive sound. What are the modifications that are observed in birds that help them fly? So birds have adapted to aerial mode of life through following modifications. Not only birds, all other organisms, according to their temperature, the where they live, automatically body organs will develop and adjust to those environment. So for these birds, body is streamlined, spindle shape, which minimize resistance to wind, so that it can fly and go fast in sky. So body is covered with feathers. It reduces the friction, prevent loss of heat, help to maintain constant temperature. That is why these are warm-blooded. So it can maintain when the temperature outside heat, inside cold. When outside it is cold, the body automatically setups to heat, inside warm temperature of the body. So forelimbs are modified into wings, which help during flight. Flight muscles are also greatly developed. If those are much muscles and if it is developed only, then only it can fly. So crane and swan, those are having the muscles are not that strong. That is why it cannot fly that high. But whereas crow and pigeon, all these can fly. Most of the bones are pneumatic bones. This is the one more question they are asking. The bones which contained by body of bird, syrinx are pneumatic bones, which are hollow, filled with air, which makes the body lighter and helps in flight, means movement. So birds are warm-blooded, as I already explained. They maintain high body temperature, 40 degrees to 46. This is necessary to flight also. Heart is four-chambered and functions efficiently with blood circulation. Like human beings, heart contains two auricles and two ventricles, because left auricle and left ventricle and right auricle and right ventricle, which are receiving chamber and pumping chamber, which can flow the blood throughout the body. That is nothing but helpful for double circulation, means which is systemic circulation. First one is pulmonary circulation, which is the body blood from lungs to heart, the blood will pump, that is called pulmonary. The systemic is from heart to all body parts, which is systemic circulation, it circulates the blood. So air sacs are present. Air sacs are present, which acts as reservoir of air and helps in temperature regulation. Urinary bladder is absent except in rhea. That is a bird which is exceptionally for everything. If it is same for 100 organisms, there will be one or two exceptions will be there, which are different than other features. So these exceptions will ask for NEET exams and the one word questions. So, and these in this only one ovary is present, which reduces the weight, which is essential for flight. The more things will be there, the body of the weight of the bird will be lightweight, then it can fly very easily. So the next question is, could the number of eggs or young birds produced by an oviparous and viviparous mother be equal? Why? Then the answer is obviously no. The number of eggs or young birds produced by oviparous, which are egg-laying animals, or which are viviparous, which are giving young birth animals, that mother respectively cannot be equal, because oviparous mother lays large number of eggs, so it does not have it so much large one, so it gives lot of eggs, as the eggs are laid outside the body, because for viviparous they have to carry the single egg to have multiple divisions, meiotic divisions. Because of that, so they are not protected from predators, so harsh environmental conditions. So these oviparous egg laying animals will be destroyed. So if they keep 100 eggs, then 50 die also, 50 will be there. But not, whereas in viviparous mother, eggs are not laid outside, but the embryos develop inside mother, thus the protected from outside harsh environment. So only one, if it is develops also, it is enough to grow. The number of eggs produced here is less. Therefore, number of eggs in young ones produced by oviparous and viviparous mother respectively cannot be equal. It is completely different. Because viviparous can take care of her baby, but oviparous can leave or in host somewhere. Crow will hatch the eggs outside like that. So the next one will be prepare a list of some animals that are found parasitic on human beings. The parasite, which are Tinea solium, the pork tapeworm, which is having in pig intestine, those are called endoparasite. Where it lives is inside small intestine. Endo means which is inside intestine or inside body parts, whereas exo means outside the body. So schistoma, blood fluke, which sucks the blood from the host. These are also endoparasite. The organ affected is hepatic portal system, means which are liver and mesenteric blood vessels. Blood vessels destroy the blood vessels. So ankylostoma duodenale. This is also again platyhelminthes, which are hookworm, endoparasites, which are living in host of small intestine. And anyway, you learnt about Wucheria more. That is nothing but filaria worm, which causes the lymph nodes, lymphatic vessels, the lymph gland of the leg, which grown so big, means heavy, huge, which the organism cannot carry. It spoil the whole body. That is a filarial worm, is a endoparasite. The last one is enterobius, pinworm, which is a endoparasite. Intestine, colon, cecum, where we have index, not about large intestine, small intestine. The next intestine part is colon, cecum, are nothing but anus, near anus. This vermiform appendix, appendicitis, which causes the extra organs, the last part of the rectum. Those will be infected by these pinworms. Whereas in ectoparasites, these are all outside the body. The next question is, if you know the each phylum characteristics, you will get score 20 marks from the exam if you know the characteristics of each phylum. That is very, very important in invertebrates and vertebrates, chordates and other phylum divisions. The differences between Annelida and Arthropoda, because the name itself it is shown, Annelida is nothing but annulations which are segmented. The elongated body contains the many segmented parts. Whereas in Arthropoda, it is body segmented and differentiated into three parts: head, thorax, and abdomen. Nothing but cephalic, thoracic, abdominal region. Whereas in Annelida, it is elongated and metamerically segmented. Each segmentation contains each each body part. So in Annelida, appendages born on body segments. But in Arthropoda, appendages may be segmented or jointed legs. Because of that only Arthropoda called as poda legs, arthro jointed. These are jointed legs. If you observe the cockroach, there will be legs, three parts will be there which are connected. So Annelida contains setae are present, setae on the body. So whereas in Arthropoda there are nothing like setae. So body wall is dermomuscular in Annelida, means whereas in Arthropoda it is opposite, it is not dermomuscular. The body cavity in Annelida is coelomate. Here in Arthropoda it is hemocoel. Hemocoel is nothing but which is white blood animals. And respiratory pigment in Annelida is hemoglobin. Here no respiratory pigment, that's why blood is in white color. In Annelida, blood is red in color. Here it will be white. Sometime in some organism it will be bluish. If you keep in water and open it and see the body completely when it is open, that is why Arthropoda it is open vascular system. Here blood vascular system is closed type, whereas in Arthropoda it is open type. There are no blood vessels for Arthropoda, whereas in Annelida there will be particular blood vessels to like arteries and veins like us. So the blood vascular system is closed type. So cilia and nephridia are absent. For locomotion there will be no cilia and there will be nephridia. There will be cilia and nephridia, but in Arthropoda it is not there. No cilia, no nephridia. Legs are there for everything. So no exoskeleton because it is smooth. It can dig the soil inside the earth. It will make the automatically lose the soil because of that. Farmer no need to dig the soil. It loosens the soil because of the plant grows effectively. But whereas in cockroach, the cover is hard skeleton, exoskeleton, which is like uh, if you beat with the finger also, it won't break. That much hard it will be like tortoise. So it is a chitinous exoskeleton. So next, as of now, we discussed about invertebrates. Now I will move on to hemichordates, which are hemichordates are worm-like body, which are almost all every chordates or hemichordates are marine only, which will be in water. These are again little bit bigger organs than invertebrates, so organs are much more developed than invertebrates. So these are organ level of organization. So body is composed of proboscis, collar and trunk. You can see in melanoglossus, there will be proboscis is responsible for excretion, which are an up, then collar, then long trunk will be there through the lungs. Long trunk, there will be gills only will be present to get the breathing and respiration. As like vertebrates only, these sexes are separate, male and female will be different because in invertebrates most of them bisexual, which are sexes will be in same organism, hermaphrodites. Earthworm is a hermaphrodite, but whereas here hemichordates are male and female are separate, which will lead to external fertilization. The eggs will be removed, released outside. Both will, male and female, will participate in fertilization. So development is indirect. Development is because there will be many larval stages and respiration is through gills as I already told. Long trunk contains gills. Excretory organ, proboscis gland, open type of circulation. I have differentiated open and closed circulator which you should know, always need to remember. So next, so what organ is responsible for in which animal? The important point they are repeating In mollusca, suppose organ is radula. Radula is responsible for to eat the food, catch the food. Arthropoda contains compound eye, which can walk and see nighttime, nocturnal, because that is why it can move in nighttime when it is dark. This compound eye is responsible to see and for movement. So echinodermata, blood vascular system only, water canal system, which can help for echinodermata metabolism. So porifera also same like echinodermata. This is also canal system. And in Annelida, closed circular system, whereas all other organisms will be open vascular system. And coelentrates or cnidarians contain cnidoblast or nematocyst. Because of that only, the group is called as coelentra or cnidarians, which are responsible to hold the host, which contains poisonous sting, which is dangerous for the host, which it catch the prey with the nematocyst. So flame cells, which are responsible for platyhelminthes excretion. Flame cells are responsible, this is a special character, platyhelminthes, whereas hookworm and other worms contain these. In molluscans, along with radula, there will be a visceral hump on the head, on the body part, visceral hump, head, visceral hump, and foot will be there, which is hard structure to protect from the predator. It walks so slow, body will be under the visceral hump, which is hard shell structure. And in Annelida, means in different organisms like in earthworm and other hydrodenaria and other centipede millipedes, these contain the excretory organelles, excretory system, nephridia and parapodia. Parapodia is for walking. What are important features of